Good afternoon, sir. Can you just give me the screen sharing option? Because I'm unable to share the screen.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Susan ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Welcome.
Rajesh, sir.
Yeah. Okay, we shall start in a few minutes. Let
Yes, sir.
join.
I would like to have the screen sharing option, sir, if it's possible.
Yeah. So, Dr. Sadiq sir, are you there? Abdul sir? Sadiq sir, please make her host. They will, I think they're joining, ma'am.
Yeah. He has allowed me.
Thank you very much for joining. Yeah. We shall start in 5 minutes.
No problem, sir. While I do the adjustments for my screen.
Able to share, I think so. Yeah. I'll send a message to join fast. Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
No problem, sir. No problem.
Hello, good afternoon. Salim sir, are you there? Yeah. Suzanne ma'am. Salim sir, are you there? Yeah, give 1 second. I am inviting Salim sir.
Hello, Rajesh. Can I start? Hello. Hello, Rajesh. Hello, Rajesh. I'm on. Hello, Raju. Am I audible, Rajesh?
You're
Hello.
audible.
Yeah. Um, Good afternoon, everybody. It is my great pleasure to introduce an esteemed academician and an inspiring personality, Dr. Susan Alex, today in our 10 days capacity development program. She is an accomplished scholar with an outstanding academic record and a passion for teaching and research. I have her academic record in front of me, her profile. She has completed a PhD from SNDT Women's University in the year 2018. Her title was A Study on Government Expenditure in Public Healthcare Services in Mumbai. She is a net as well as a set in economics and a net in management. It looks like an academic hat trick, two net and one set, one in management and two in economics. And she's also an MBA in economics, an MA in economics, and of course a BA in economics. She has completed her MA, MBA from Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala. Besides, besides her long list of academic achievements, all right, I need to mention this that she achieved a second rank for MA economics and first rank for optional. She also achieved a university merit scholarship for degree and a municipal award winner for pre-degree examination. She has undertaken various projects. Just to name a few, summer projects carried out at Spark Tech, entitled Market Potential for Overhead Water Tanks in Kerala State. She has organized a study conducted at the Texel Chemical and Hydropower Limited, market research undertaken for Escotel Cellular Phone, organized research and presentation for the Best Entrepreneur Award for 2 consecutive years, industrial exposure visits to Malayala Manorama and manufacturing unit of V-Guard.
Sir, can I
Um,
interrupt? Very
yeah,
sorry,
and
sir. Can you
no,
just, we have got very limited time. Can we
yeah,
just,
yeah, just 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, madam. And she is currently teaching in KP Hinduja College. Already, she is in teaching for last 15 years, and she has made a remarkable contribution to a field through her extensive research and publication. She has presented and published numerous papers in reputed national international conferences. The list is too long, which just shows her depth of knowledge and dedication. So today we are honored to have a resource person like you, madam, here for this program, where madam will share a valuable insight and expertise. Let us all extend a warm welcome to Dr. Alex, madam. Thank you very
thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I hope I do justice to what you said.
Thank
Let me just start with my screen sharing. Just give me a
you.
minute, please. Yeah. Is the screen visible for everyone? Uh, I could do with a verbal acknowledgement if somebody can say whether the screen is visible. Okay, so my topic, which I was given, was quantitative research and methods. So we will be going directly without, because we got just about a limited time span. We've got just about, yeah, it's visible. That's the message. We've got just about 60 minutes, and we have short of time. So we know that research is a process of investigation. We look at the subject that we are wanting to study from different perspectives or different points of view. And it is not just collection of data, it has a systematic inquiry process where you collect data, you document it, you look at critical information, you analyze the information, and you interpret the data, and then finally you present your results or your findings. So the classic research process model, I'm just giving an introduction so that I can move on to my topic. So when you look at the classic research process, the model involves starting with a theory or a thought or a question, and then generating a hypothesis, then testing a hypothesis, and then finally interpreting your results. It doesn't stop here, it goes further because there might be somebody who is more interested in conducting further research in the topic that you have already completed your research on. So we are going on to the topic that I was having at hand, and that is the types of research. So when I look at the types of research, we have basically two, and that is quantitative research, which I'll be talking on. And at the same time, we need to know a little bit about qualitative research. So when we talk about qualitative research, we try to understand the why and how of human behavior. For example, we are having to test out a new drug, a new medication for hypertension. Most of us today know that the world that we are living in, diabetes and hypertension are two of the things that we get to see very frequently. So when a new medicine is being tested out, we often ask questions to the respondents or to the study group on which the medicine is being tested out as to how do they feel. So when you ask them how do they feel, or are they having, they are feeling it can be hypertension, it can be arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So when we talk to the patient, what the patient says, this is what I felt, I felt a relief, or I felt something better, that is a part of qualitative research. But quantitative research is understanding what, how much, how many, and to what great extent of the phenomenon we are talking about. So for example, when I'm talking about the blood pressure or the hypertension medication, I want to know whether by giving this medicine, I'm able to reduce the hypertension or not. So we look at how much, it's a number, or how many participants or how many respondents had a change in their medical history, and to what extent it has changed. So again, when we look at the next slide, we are differentiating between quantitative and qualitative. We say that quantitative is to quantify and measure the phenomenon by trying to collect numerical data. We try to test the hypothesis. We try to establish certain patterns. And when we are trying to do that, we also try to generalize our findings to a larger population. But in qualitative research, we look at the motivation, we look at the behavior, we look at the experience, we look at the context and the meaning of the entire phenomenon. And in qualitative research, the data collection is not just by using surveys or experiments. We use interviews. We have an in-depth talk with the various participants or respondents. We have focus groups, we have observations. We allow the participants to present their views. It is highly subjective in nature, because ultimately qualitative research is based on what the researcher is able to extract, and there is a subjective element. But when we talk about quantitative research is very systematic. It is having standardized data collection methods like surveys, experiments, etc. And often it doesn't focus on a small group, it focuses on a bigger group. And here we use statistical techniques. We have descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. We draw conclusions and we make generalization based on the numerical data. And apart from that, the sample size is often a bigger sample size so that you can generalize for the bigger population. So for that, you have tables, you have charts, you visualize the data, and whatever information you get, you are able to extrapolate the findings to a larger population. Qualitative research is based, because it involves in-depth knowledge, so it involves a sample size that is quite small. And as a result, the results of this particular findings are very subjective. It is context dependent. It gives a richer detail in comparison to quantitative research. But there is what I would say a subjectivity in qualitative research, whereas in quantitative research, it is more of objective, it is more precise. You try to minimize the researcher's bias and you try to make it replicable, and you have very objective findings. So when we talk about quantitative research, I would say that it is a very structured method of collecting and analyzing numerical data. You try to, your basic game, your goal, your objective is to get insights. You try to establish trends, patterns. You try to get statistically valid conclusions. And most of the time, the data is depicted in numerical form. It's a very crucial form of decision making in many fields, especially in the fields of business, market research, healthcare, social sciences. You find that quantitative research is very much used. And quantitative research basically utilizes inferential statistics to derive conclusions that can be extrapolated to a broader population. So we talk, when you finally come and you pick out the three main characteristics of quantitative research, you find that it involves numerical data. The focus is on numerical data and statistical analysis because you want to be very objective in your evaluation and your research findings. The objectivity is highly valuable in this particular research because you minimize the researcher's bias. You strive to be highly objective, and the results are empirical, evidence-based rather than subjective interpretation. What you get, it is not based on what you feel, but what the results are displayed as a result of your analysis and as a result of the statistical tools that have been employed. It is very generalized because you can generalizability is there. You find that whatever you are extracting, because it is from a larger size of a sample, you are able to extrapolate the data to the final to the entire population. So there might be certain questions, these are examples of questions when we talk about quantitative research. When we talk about quantitative research, what is the demographic makeup of Singapore? So when we talk about demographics, we typically talk about what is the age group, what is the income group, what is the gender, what is the education levels. So these are things that we talk about when we talk about the demographic makeup. Again, it's numerical data you get out of it. You talk about the average temperature and what has, the average temperature change that has happened in the last century. So you look at you collect the data from different places, you look at the climate data, you look at the temperature data, you're able to get a certain figure. And from that figure, you're able to understand what has been the change that happened in the past century and how temperature has changed over a period of time. The next question may be, probably this is related again to environment. You talk about environmental pollution and its impact on honeybees. Now, this is a question that, we talk about honeybees. Honeybees, they say that if no longer are there, it can have a tremendous impact on nature as such. So has pollution impacted honeybees? Yes, you would like to collect the data from areas where there is high pollution, and you compare the different levels of pollution, and you look at how it has impacted the honeybee colonies. And again, this is an example. Again, there is a question that comes from social sciences. Has working from home increased productivity in vis-a-vis long commute? So you look at when you work from your home, you have better productivity, or is it your productivity is better when you work from the office? But then when you work from the office, you have to travel a lot. So for people like us in Mumbai, when we leave, we say that, there are, both has its positives and negatives. When we work from home, you look at what is your productivity, but then there is a constraint of your space constraints, your ambience, your environment constraints when you're working from your home. When you're working from your office, you have to spend long hours traveling. How does it affect your productivity? So this understanding of whether working from home is more productive or working from an office is more productive is possible when you collect the data. When you analyze the data, you get statistical figures. You are able to draw tables and charts, and these quantitative techniques are being used, and this is a part of quantitative research. So when we talk about research, there are three important questions that are to be considered. Who? While selecting the sample, my questions should be, who should I study? So my goal is that it should be a representative sample. The type of data that I want will look at, whether it is going to be a very in-depth data, whether I should be doing qualitative study or a quantitative study. Again, what is the strategy that is going to be used? Am I going to use a laboratory setting versus a survey method, or am I going to collect the data many times, or is it going to be a single time collection? And Last comes the most important question. Why? Why am I doing this research? Am I doing it for increasing the knowledge base? Am I doing it for future research? Or am I doing it because it is going to have an application base in terms of policy making or making some substantial change in the society that we live? So we before we start the research, we always have this thing, what is the research design that I should be following through? So when I'm talking about the research design, it is a blueprint on which I will be doing my research. It will be a plan on where I will be looking at questions. It is going to be very objective. It's going to be very accurate, and it is going to have a framework of the methods and the techniques that I'll be using. What will be, the types of research that I might need to think about, what are the ways in which I'm going to get the data from. So there are 4 types of quantitative research design, and this is where we are going to start with the actual presentation. So the 4 types are descriptive, correlational, experimental, and quasi-experimental or causal comparative. So I think somebody's microphone is on. Can you please mute it, please? Because I'm getting, I do not know whether you're talking to me or whether it's a part of your, home front. So we're going to talk about quantitative research, the types and methods, and we are going to focus on the actual topic presentation. So as we know, the research process is identifying the research problem, reviewing the related literature, then finally looking at the gaps, knowing what is the existing knowledge base, formulating a hypothesis or a research question, whatever may be the type of study that you're doing, choosing a research methodology, that is developing a research design based on whether it is going to be qualitative or quantitative, collect the data, you will analyze the data, you will try to draw conclusions, you will present and communicate the results, and then probably you will come and reevaluate and iterate, that is you reflect on it, and then you will think about future research. Because let me tell you, when we talk about research is never static. It's a very highly dynamic process. It is something that keeps on, I would say, it keeps on going and going, because what you feel important at a particular point of time, you will find that there are newer things coming in and you want to study it further. You want to add to the knowledge base. So there is always a reflection and future research that is involved. And lastly, but not, lastly, I would say it's one of the most important points, there is an ethical considerations. Today, a lot of research is being done, and most of us academicians know that there is the problem of ethics being concerned. We find that there is a lot of plagiarism, there are a lot of, things that can be considered to be going against the ethical considerations of what a researcher should be doing. Said this, let us move on to the types of quantitative research. So when we talk about research, we first say that there is the descriptive research. So what is descriptive research? Descriptive research is looking at the status of an identified variable. It is looking at attitudes or behavior. It is trying to describe a phenomenon, a situation. The researcher does not really begin with a hypothesis, but he tries to get the data and then develop a hypothesis as to what, where, when, and how questions, but not the why question. So one of the example is, describe the characteristics of an Indian population. You want to do a study on Indian population, and we see that Indian population is often characterized. You want to look at the young population of India. So you start out by what is its size. It's probably, we're talking about 1.4 billion and counting people. Rapid growth, we are seeing that Indian population has been growing. In 2023, it was 0.89%. In 2022, it was 0.81. And in 2021, it was 0.8. So we find that Indian population is growing. We find that there is, if you look at the pyramid of the Indian population, at the very top, you will find that there is the elderly, and very bottom level, we find that there is the young population. We talk about distribution, we talk about urbanization. So we are looking here at what, where, and how, what is the size of the population, what are the characteristics of the population, and we are not formulating any hypothesis. Whereas when we are trying to get further into it, we try to, just give me a minute, please. Yeah. So when we are talking about this type of population, we're trying to get a better idea of what we want to do with the research that we have at hand. The second type is correlational research. Correlational research tries to find the relationship between two or more variables. So when I talk about two or more variables, I might be talking about the relationship between use of tobacco and oral cancer, or I might be talking about the relationship between smoking and lung cancer. So we are, trying to establish that there is a relationship. We are in this type of design. We are trying to look at the existing relationship. We're trying to look at trends and patterns and data, but we are not trying to prove the cause of these observed patterns. We're trying to establish a relation. So we see that if you do a study among the cancer patients who are suffering oral cancer at Tata Research, and you talk to them, you might come across chances of many patients saying that they had tobacco or related oral habits, that they were eating tobacco, and as a result, they have got oral cancer. Or nowadays, there have been a lot of research being conducted between the relation between COVID and young patients developing diabetes. So there is, this one study that was being done. They were saying that there is an increased risk of type 2 diabetes within 6 months following a COVID-19 diagnosis. So these type of studies where you are trying to establish a relationship between two variables, it is considered to be a correlational research. There is, you're looking at a trend, you're looking at a pattern of data, but you're definitely not looking at the cause of the reason, or cause or the reason behind why there's a pattern. Now, the third type is the causal comparative or the quasi-experimental research. So when we talk about this, it is similar to an experiment, but it is not a true experiment because it is conducted in a real life setting, and there is no random assignment of the participants or conditions. There is no manipulation by the researcher. We find that the independent variable is identified, but definitely not not manipulated by the person who does the experiment, and the effects of the independent variable or the dependent variable is studied. So here you find that you want to look at the effect of age on lung capacity. So as you grow older, sometimes you find that you might have breathing issues or breathing problems. So you try to establish that yes, as you grow older, age can have impact on the breathing capacity, the lung capacity, but you are not trying to manipulate the data. Again, you might want to know what is the effect of part-time employment and the achievement of high school students, or today we are dealing with college students. So we want many of the students in our classes, that they do not come in for their lectures, or they are late attenders, or they might not be able to put in the same academic performance. And when you talk to them, you realize that many of them are working part-time, and that has an impact. So you do a study on it. You're looking at the relationship of why academics is suffering. Then you might look at the cause. You might be able to identify maybe that they are working part-time workers or part-time employees. Then we come to the fourth type, and that is the experimental research. So when we talk about experimental research, it is a true experimental research which is mostly conducted in a clinical setting or a laboratory setting, where you are able to manipulate one or more variables to analyze the exact cause-effect relationship. So it is usually a scientific method where, what most of us have done it as children, where when we were in lower classes, we were asked to, see the impact of photosynthesis, and we were, asked to keep a plant in bright sunlight, and we see the plant is thriving. The same plant, when you take it for about 5 to 6 days in a very dark room, you find that the leaves become yellow, they start falling off. So you find that there you are able to manipulate sunlight as a variable, an independent variable, and you're able to understand the impact of light on plants, or impact of music on concentration. So if you have music that is played, the type of music that can be having, the very strong type of music like rock music, sometimes it can affect the concentration of the person who is trying to do some work. It can be a student, it can be an employee, it can be any person. But if there is a soothing music, you find that the person is able to concentrate. It's the student is able to study better, and there is you try to analyze the role of music on concentration. So this type of research is considered to be a experimental research. Having said, having talked about the different types, we're now going on to the collection methods. I'm going a little fast, but this is because we have got just 30 more minutes and I would like to finish the presentation, so kindly bear up with me. When we talk about the quantitative research data collection methods, we say that there are two types, and they are the primary quantitative research method and the secondary quantitative research method. When we talk about the primary one, we see that the data is being collected for the first time. It's fresh data. It is collected as per the requirements of the researcher. The researcher wants to know something, and he carries out, the various methods. He collects the data for his personal use, and there is no previously collected data. He, takes the data and he uses it as per his convenience and requirement. Secondary data, on the other hand, is the data that has been already used or already been collected. It's an existing body of knowledge. It is already summarized. It's already finalized in a particular way. And many a time, researchers use both secondary and primary data for, making their research more effective and more, efficient. So when we talk about the secondary data methods, you will find the data which is, there are 5 major sources, data already available on the internet, government and non-government sources. There is public libraries. You find that there is educational institutions. You have commercial information sources. So we know where secondary data is available. We are more interested in the primary quantitative research method. So when we talk about primary data, data can be collected with the help of questionnaires. It can be collected with the help of surveys. It can be collected with the help of interviews, experiments, observation, tests, and assessments. So we have the techniques for collecting primary data. We have also the collection methodology, which is the sampling method, which uses non-probability and probability methods. And we also have surveys and polls. We are going to talk about what is surveys and questionnaires. So when we talk about surveys, we say that it is a standardized questionnaire or interviews that are used to collect data from a sample of participants. There are close-ended questions. Most of the time surveys use close-ended questions. They can be multiple choice or single select or Likert scales, which are used to analyze the responses on a numbered scale. And data analysis is also done very statistically. It helps you to identify patterns and relationships. So when you talk about surveys and questionnaires, one of the advantages is you're able to collect data from a very large audience. You are able to have standardized questions which will give you quantifiable responses, facilitating very easy access, and you're able to get opinions, you're able to analyze the behaviors or demographic information. I want to know, for example, the average monthly electricity consumption of households in a small city. So what do? I send surveys out, I talk to them, ask them about their electricity bills in the past 1 year for different months. And from that, I'm able to get the average monthly electricity consumption. Or I want to know more about if I look at the census survey in India has one of the very vast questionnaire types that you have ever come across. You see that it talks about demographics. It's very, very in-depth questions are asked. You will find a lot about the population, about the size, about the gender, about the literacy, about the employment status, about the number of children within the family. A lot of data is collected, and it is at the national level. And there is yet another one example. I'm looking at businesses. Now, businesses want to know, how employees feel, how satisfied are they with their job? Because today you find that companies need to have a lot of. Just 1 minute. There's some message which has come through. Yeah, I'll come to that question. So when we talk about surveys, there is no ideal survey size. You look at, if I'm talking about the census survey, there is no ideal size. It means that you are talking to every single individual within the nation. You are supposed to collect the nation's, all the citizens of the nation you're supposed to get the information from. But suppose I'm talking about employees within an organization. Yes, I would like to get that. You float within suppose you're in a college and your college wants to know your satisfaction dissatisfaction with certain policies that has been implemented by the management, the college will definitely give that survey to every single individual, and every single individual is expected to answer that. So you want to conduct that survey, you will do it as an online process or as an offline process. And when we talk about surveys, we find that there are two types of surveys, and that is the cross-sectional surveys and there is the longitudinal surveys. So when we talk about the cross-sectional surveys, we see that it is for a very specified period. You have a specified starting and ending period. The main purpose is to describe and assess the characteristics of a particular population. So for example, I want to know that there is a person living within a particular city, and they had a gas leak, or they had a chemical leak, and how it has impacted that people living in the vicinity of that particular factory. I want to know that. So that particular point, I'm doing the survey, say there may be 1,000 households around that factory, and there was a gas leak, and I'm talking to those people who have experienced or who are survivors of the gas leak, and I talk to them to find out what are the physical, mental, psychological issues that they are suffering as a result of being exposed to this particular type of environmental pollution or chemical leak. It has a very specific, it is conducted to a target population for a very specified period. In comparison to that, the longitudinal surveys are conducted over a time period. So it is where you're looking at the target population, you're trying to analyze and talk to them, you're studying them over a period of time. You're not stopping with the study, but you're carrying on the study for a further period to analyze what are the causal factors, to understand the effects over a longer period. So the same example that I gave you of the gas leak and the people that I studied, if I study, say, for a period of 10 years, like we have the Bhopal gas tragedy. So at that immediate point when I studied it, or not I, if a researcher studied it and they got the data, then it was a cross-section study. But if I've been studying that population, say, for a period of 10 years or 15 years, and I have seen that a lot of health issues have come in, a lot of changes have happened within them, within that individuals, then I am conducting a longitudinal survey. And we also understand that when we talk about cross-sectional surveys, it is looking at the prevalence of hypertension among adults at a particular age group, looking at job satisfaction of employees in the IT sector versus the banking sectors. Then, when I'm doing this, suppose you are a researcher and you're looking at the policy changes that have happened, and you're talking to employees in the banking sector and in the IT sector, and you get the analysis done, and you say, yeah, these are my findings. That is a cross-section study. Longitudinal studies are over an extended period of time. So I'm conducting somebody's. Could you please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. So I'm looking at the weight loss program of 200 participants over a period of time, say for 2 years. So I have talked to 200 participants. I'm looking at their diet. I'm looking at their exercise activity. I am looking at the way in which they have lost their weight in the first month, in the second month. I'm able to analyze and I'm able to see a pattern of how the weight loss has been, whether they hit the plateau and then they are not able to lose the weight beyond that, or how they can lose the weight by continuing the whatever diet or exercise activity they have conducted. Again, if I'm looking at the relationship between smoking and lung cancer, today we know that there is a relationship, and if the researchers are looking at the newer forms of smoking, not just smoking cigarettes, but the different types of new type of devices that have come in, and looking at its impact, whether it is more dangerous than the ordinary cigarette or not, we have to study it over a period of time to analyze and find out its impact. And again, we're looking at the income growth of your student. So suppose your student has completed a particular course, and what is his income over a period of time in comparison with other students who have done further courses. So when you're doing a study over a period, an extended period of time, it becomes a part of the longitudinal survey. Then we talk about the next one, and that is interview. So when we move to interviews, interviews are similar to questionnaires, but the only difference is you are sitting face to face, or you're talking to the person, you're talking to a single person. You're not talking to multiple people, you're talking to a single person. It can be a structured one. And when it is a structured one, you will find that the researcher asks the same question. Professor Mohammed Arif, could you please
दुआ करो
mute
अल्लाह आसान
yourself?
करे जितनी कोशिश हो रही कर रहे
Very sorry for that. It becomes a little distracting when you're trying to complete, and there is very limited time, so I cannot waste much time. So when I'm talking about interviews being structured, we see that the researcher will ask the same question in the same order to all the participants. In an unstructured interview, the researcher will ask questions as per what the respondent is answering. He will frame the question. He wants to know further about it. He will modify the question. He will revise the question. He will ask additional questions. So there is a structured interview and there is an unstructured interview. And we also have the next method, and that is experiments. So like I told you at the very beginning, we have talking about experiments where you try to establish the cause-effect relationship, where you are trying to manipulate one variable to find out the impact on the other dependent variables. So you are testing the effectiveness of a new medicine, or you are trying to find out how a new teaching methodology can impact the results from your students, or you are trying to giving some sort of incentive to one group, and how does that group perform, whereas you're not giving the same incentive to the other group, and how does the group perform. So this sort of studies, this sort of experimental methods uses the manipulation by the researcher. The random sampling or control groups are often used, and here you have a hypothesis and you try to establish one or the other with the help of manipulation of the independent variable and finding its impact on the dependent variable. Then you have observation and tests and assessments. Observational research is a method in which researchers observe and record the behavior. And this is done in a very systematic manner. You look at behaviors, events, phenomenon, and you try to collect qualitative data, but can you also use it for qualitative data, but you also use it for quantitative data. So sometimes you want to see the behavior pattern of certain customers, how when they enter suppose they enter the shop and they say different displays. So one side is where you have the electronic gadgets, and the other side is where they have cosmetics. So how does is gender impacting the way in which consumers shop? So you form a hypothesis, or you try to observe and understand whether the men go more towards the electronic gadget section, or women go towards the cosmetic section. So you try to observe and try to formulate certain theories. Then comes tests and assessments. So tests and assessments again are using standardized tests, where you will try to utilize certain methods where you're trying to find out. Now, one of the examples can be the IQ test that you have, where you try to find out, you have standard questions where you want to test the knowledge and skills and abilities. You employ the standardized procedures, which are very consistent and very, very fair. And we now move on to the collection methods, the methodology. So that we'll be using. So we have different methodologies. We have the non-probability sampling, and we have what you call the probability sampling. So we have non-probability, where we talk about convenience sampling. So convenience sampling, as the word implies itself, it's what's more convenient for the researcher, the proximity of the respondents to the researcher, and it is very quick. It is very easy to implement. There is no other parameter for selecting the sample. So I want to survey at the local malls or departmental stores. I go there, I catch hold of the respondents who are walking by. If somebody stops, they answer my question. And suppose I want to do a study of the perfumes that is being used. So I catch hold of the persons who are coming across me, ask them to use. They might answer, they might not answer. That will be a disadvantage. But nevertheless, convenience sampling is, where you choose a sample as per your proximity to the respondent. Consecutive sampling is quite similar to convenience sampling, except for the fact that you choose a single element or group of samples and conduct the research, consecutively over a period of time, and then perform the precocity of other samples. Quota sampling. When you talk about quota sampling, you select elements using your knowledge of the target traits and personalities to form a particular strata. So here you can see that, I am forming a strata that can be based on the age, on the gender, on the income levels, and from that I pick samples as per my understanding of their traits and personalities. So members of the various strata can be chosen to be a part of the sample as per the researcher's understanding. Snowball sampling. Again, this is a very interesting method because here you find that you're not able to contact the respondents easily. And they are difficult to contact and get information. So what you do is you contact one person and then that person gives you the reference of the next person and you're able to conduct the research. So there is one of the examples that we can talk about, it is the hidden population. So you want to talk about, for example, homeless people with homeless, one or two people, you want to understand if they have got HIV and you want to conduct a study and you want to know more about it. So it is not easy for us to catch hold of a person, and many people today, there's a lot of stigma attached with HIV also. So getting a homeless person with HIV may not be that easy. So I talk to that person. If I'm doing my research, I talk to that person and I ask that person to refer me to the next person who has a similar situation. So that is snowball sampling. Judgmental sampling, on the other hand, is where it is based on the judgment of the researcher's experience and his researcher's skill. So I want to know more about the experiences of women entrepreneurs in a particular industry. So I talk to women that are there, I identify them, I talk to them, and I know that they belong to this particular industry and they are entrepreneurs doing this particular work. Then I talk to them, I get the information from them. And that is what we refer to as judgmental sampling, because it is based on the researcher's experience and research skill. Having said that, we move on to the next slide, and that is related to the sampling method. So here we have the simple random sampling. So as a name very itself indicates, simple random sampling is nothing but random selection of elements for a sample. So I just go, I have the population, I pick at random this becomes my sample. Stratified random sampling, on the other hand, is where I divide the population into different groups. So it can be like I divide the population into the basis of certain age or certain income level. So if the person is belonging to this age group, yes, I will take this. This person is belonging to this age group, I'll pick a few. The person is belonging to this age group, I'll pick a few. So, or it can be even income. So various segregated strata is there, and the care should be taken that the strata do not overlap. You have cluster sampling. So when I talk about cluster sampling, again, I'm dividing the population into, the main segment of the population is divided into clusters. So it can be on the basis of geographic segmentation, or it can be again demographic segmentation. So geographic, people of a particular place. So I'm talking about healthcare facilities available. So I talk about the city of Mumbai, I talk about Mumbai city and Mumbai suburbs. So what is the number of BMC hospitals that are available? And in BMC hospitals, one of the things that you can see is there are more facilities available in Mumbai city, but less facilities available in the Mumbai suburbs. But the population, if you look at it, is less in Mumbai city, but more in Mumbai suburbs. And as a result, you find that many of the patients who visit BMC hospitals have no alternative but to go to Mumbai city, and they create a tremendous pressure on the infrastructure, the public health infrastructure there. So this sort of studies, you are basing on geographic segmentation or demographic segmentation. Systematic sampling is again another type of probability sampling, where you have a starting point of the sample is chosen randomly, like you have 100, then you choose 5, the next will be 15, then 25, then 35. So you choose the elements at a fixed interval, and this helps you to collect your data. And we have quantitative research analysis methods. So we have descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics summarizes and organizes raw data based on its features, and it helps you to identify patterns, trends, and central tendencies. So the techniques may be the measures of central tendencies, measures of central tendency like mean, median, mode. You have measures of dispersion like range variance and standard deviation. You have frequency distribution, you have percentages and ratios, you have cross tabulation, which compares the relationship between two or more variables in a table format or a tabular format. And you have inferential statistics, where you try to draw conclusions or generalizations about a population that is based on a sample. So there are different techniques involved. You have the t-test, you have the ANOVA, you have the chi-square test, you have correlation analysis. So these help you to infer from your findings certain results and findings that will, from your results, you're able to infer certain things. Your findings will help you to generalize across the population. And there is the regression analysis, where you look at the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable, where, we're looking at sales. So suppose you have increased your advertising expenditure, you have brought in a celebrity, you have paid a huge amount of money, you got a fantastic advertisement. Are your sales increasing in proportion to what you have put in more as part of your advertising expenditure? So regression analysis is again a part of your quantitative research analysis methods. And when we talk about these techniques, you have to see that these techniques are an integral part of quantitative research, because they help you to summarize your data. It helps you to draw inferences, make predictions. You also can use statistical software to analyze huge data sets and identify the trends and patterns, and ensure that you're getting really good, robust conclusions. So they have a lot of sophisticated tools today. There you have SPSS, R is being used. Excel is one of the things that most of us use and are comfortable with. There are people who are very comfortable using statisticians, and people who have got trained to use SPSS and R. They find it is easy to use and draw conclusions. And you have certain advantages. So when I'm talking about advantages, you will find that quantitative research helps you to collect a lot of reliable and accurate data. It is very much, data you are able with help of certain online surveys, you are able to conduct the surveys and get tremendous amount of data that can be collected. With the latest tools, you can analyze and you can present things in a matter of, in a limited time period, you are able to get the results that are highly reliable and objective. So like I told you, quick data collection. So today we are talking about quantitative research methods like surveys. You will find that opinion polls, etc. You're able to get a tremendous amount of work done within a very short time period. And wide scope of data collection. So today, with the type of equipment, with the type of tools that are available, collection of data becomes relatively quicker, and you are able to reach across to a wider range of population. And the added advantage is you are able to eliminate bias. Quantitative research is something that helps you to reduce the subjectivity, and it has no room for personal comments or personal bias to come in. It is your findings are presented in a very numerical form, and the bias element is completely removed, or to a great extent removed. Then you have certain disadvantages. So when you talk about the disadvantages, we see that many a time there is a problem that it is superficial in nature. It skims across questions, because sometimes certain questions the respondents may not be very comfortable answering. Certain things they might not give a correct or accurate picture, which you could have got when you were doing a face-to-face interview. Because certain times when you ask, like you go to a mall, just give me a minute, and you are standing and talking to the people there, and you ask them, do you use perfume? So sometimes people may feel embarrassed to say that they may not be using the perfume, but they will say, yes, we do. Or they might write in their, in the survey, online survey, what is the difference? I'll just fill it, yes, 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 without even reading the questions. So it may be highly superficial. And again, you're talking about very a group of people that might fudge the information and give you. But when you're doing an interview, which is, when you're talking to them one to one, you're able to, get an in-depth understanding of it. Because as a researcher, you might be able to judge what the person may be trying to hide or may not be able to reveal that easily. Again, it's a narrow focus. Quantitative research has a problem of being very narrow in, its focus, and there is a possibility that there may be structural bias. If you are eliminating the subjective bias, there's a possibility of structural bias being there, because sometimes there may be the techniques that you're using may not be appropriate, or maybe there is a possibility of missing data. The respondent has given the answer, but probably clicked at the wrong place, or probably entered the wrong figure, or missed a point. The point can be here and there. It can have a huge impact. And there is a possibility of bias. They're feeling the bias and they're putting there, the respondent's bias being there. And lack of context. So again, this is a problem that is seen in quantitative data, because you're putting your data in, you are trying to use like experiments you're using in a laboratory setting. So you may not be able to get the true picture, because there is the historical or cultural context that may not be seen in the laboratory setting. So if you are doing observation, or if you're doing a survey, you will find that there are people, you might miss out on the historical or the cultural context, and that might be a problem.
अरे रिसर्चर से एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है आपके पास सारे आंसर.
I'm sorry, but there is somebody who is.
कैसे भी हो, आंसर होना चाहिए.
Can the other, is it possible for the respondents, not the respondents, participants, to please mute themselves? So when we talk about the purpose of quantitative research, we see that quantitative research is to understand the society and people. It helps scientists, marketeers, researchers to get a better grasp on the society and people. It also helps you to make data-driven decision-making across various sectors, because today a lot of government, a lot of organizations use huge data sets to, make decisions, to predict the trends, to optimize your resources. And apart from that, you will find that there is the measurement of variables where you try to identify the relationship. You're also able to test hypotheses. And in today's world, where you find that a lot of changes are happening in a blink of an eye in terms of technology and innovation, healthcare, and economics, you find that data or quantitative research data can help you to make the right decisions, or help you to make decisions. And at the same time, when you're talking about businesses, you need to understand the consumer behavior. You try to improve the efficiency. You try to foster transparency. So you will find that quantitative research provides, insights into making policies and strategies and solving issues and problems that businesses and industries face. So when we talk about the next slide, and that is about the applications. So when we talk about applications, we see the businesses use quantitative research for market research. You will find that for finding consumer satisfaction, for testing, for sales forecasting, etc. Healthcare uses it for testing various drugs and medicines, for finding out, cure for certain diseases. Education, today you'll find that there are standardized testing tools and program evaluation for educational research. Social sciences use it for testing the public opinion, social trends, and demographic behaviors, for finding out patterns. You also find out business and market research using quantitative research for predicting the future market trends, for finding out consumer satisfaction, the effectiveness of a product, or problems faced while marketing a particular product. And as a summary, I would like to say that quantitative research is a very structured way of collecting and analyzing data from various sources. You can say that it helps you to quantify the problem, it helps you to understand the extent, and you can take the results and extrapolate it to a larger population. And not just that, companies today use quantitative data for interpreting results for better reach to their customers, and it helps it helps, be it a company or be it a organization or be it government. It helps you to understand the society in a very clearer or a deeper understanding through very systematic data collection and analysis. So you find that it uses structured methodologies, including surveys, experiments, and statistical tools to give you valuable, objective insights that can influence the policies, practices, and future research directions. So with that, I come to the end of this particular presentation. Is there any questions? I tried to keep the time limit because I was given the time limit of 2:30, so just a minute to spare. I think I rushed through, but it's because Sir said that I had to keep the time limit. I try to be a little fast.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Susan. Thank you very much. I'm there attending. And learners, if you have any kind of question, please do ask, ma'am. You can ask any kind of question you have, please. Okay. And you very thank you for joining, Dr. Susan, because and we reduced time because we had to finish by 4 today, so it was a sudden change. But thanks for accepting it and delivering lecture. It was indeed wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
And we are hopeful that you will share platform again with us in coming execution workshops.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for joining us. Have a nice day. Thank you. Has Dr. Gita ma'am joined? हाँ मैम, बस थोड़ा सा है, सब दर्द सब बात क्या
Good afternoon, Raj Bhoite, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Did you join?
Yeah, I have already joined. Unfortunately,
Okay.
my laptop doesn't have the thing. 1 minute, huh? The audio is not working.
Now it's working fine.
But you know what? If you could just show it.
Okay, just wait. I'm downloading that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Give me 1 minute.
Hello. Very good to see you.
All dear participants, please bear. We are about to start the session. Okay, kindly interact with ma'am. Welcome, Dr. Gita ma'am. We formally welcome you on behalf of Anjuman Islam's Abar Pirbhai College for your session. And I'll request Professor Gita to introduce you. Gita ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Gita, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, Gita, audible,
Yes,
audible. Please,
yes.
please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
First of all, I'm very thankful for giving an opportunity to introduce the resource persons of the present session, Dr. Gita Nair ma'am. Dr. Gita Nair ma'am is a professor and the head of the Department of Business of Economics and Director of Research Initiative in HR College of Commerce and Economics. Ma'am is a chairperson of Board of Studies in Business Economics at HSLC University and member of Board of Studies in Business Economics University of Mumbai. Ma'am has successfully guided 9 doctoral theses with 8 new registration for PhD. Ma'am has won number of the awards like a minor research project title analysis of livelihood of women in the urban informal sector in Mumbai by the HSNC University. Ma'am has awarded the Fulbright Scholar in Residence Fellowship to start a new course on the Indian economy and research on cost benefit analysis of online learning in the US lessons for India at the New Jersey City University, USA for the fall semester 2022. Ma'am got awarded minor research project by the University of Mumbai to study livelihood of fisher folks in Mumbai 2018. Ma'am is no minor research project by the University of Mumbai to study the digital and online learning in Mumbai. Like that, ma'am has number of award in a profile. Ma'am is a member of the International Journals, member of editorial board of international journals like Educational Research and Review, Journal UK, Research Journal of Physical and Applied Sciences. Ma'am is also a member of editorial board of national journals like Research Dimension, Journal of Higher Education, Dietary Publication. Ma'am has authored 4 books titled Macroeconomic Aspect of Aging and Retirement of College and University Teacher, Revisiting Resilience, Lambert Academic Publishing Germany, Gender Impact of Globalization of Higher Education Promoting Human Development in India, Palgrave, Macmillan, UK, Revisiting Globalization Through the Gender Lens. Ma'am has published the papers in the Scopus. More than 10 papers are there. I'm just reading out the name of 1 or 2 because it would be very injustice, if I'm not reading the name of one or two at least, economic of vocationalization of higher education in Mumbai, in Journal of Positive Social Psychology 2022, post-pandemic trends in decent work in India, in edited Scopus, index book Impact of COVID-19 on Commerce and Economics 2023. So a lot of achievements are there in the ma'am's profile, and it's a very injustice that in a very short summary, I gave an introduction of the ma'am because of the time and the participants are waiting to listen to you. So ma'am, this we welcome you and I request you to take the charge of the session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Thank you for introducing ma'am. Yeah, now, okay, may I request Sadiq sir to please make ma'am host? Sadiq sir? Sadiq sir, are you there? Please make ma'am host. Acha madam, are you able to share it or not? Geeta ma'am?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet. You are not able to share, or you want your technical support?
No, I mean, it's saying that, 1 minute.
He has made you host.
Yes.
Yes, able to share, na?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, and very regret because last moment my laptop got switch off. Thank
That's
you.
all right. That's
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Both Geeta ma'am, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I know this is the last session and all of us are very tired, but indeed, last but not the least, it is a very important session because all that you have learned over the past all that you have learned over the past 9 sessions will be put to kind of utility or fruition because you will be actually realizing your goal or your potential in form of different kinds of research funding and grants that you must apply for in small and big measures. I must once again thank the organizers, Dr. Rajesh Bhoite and his team, Geeta, and everyone from your college, because this is a great initiative which he has sustained over the years and gotten new young PhD students as well as faculty to take advantage of something very important. And he's always updated, upskilled people, gotten AI, gotten the qualitative aspect of research, which is really very heartwarming. So without much ado, I'm just going to show you a couple of things because you just need to get on to these are the deadlines. Okay, so most of the deadlines actually should be checked after the previous December. So if you are looking at this year 2025, then you must look at deadlines before December 2024 for better application results because usually they do not have an extension of deadlines, especially the international ones. So if you look at a couple of fully funded scholarships, if you take the case of UK, because we are a Commonwealth of nation and we have a kind of a first mover advantage when it comes to UK. So there are a couple of these, and you have at different levels, like the undergraduate students, there's a co-college global scholarship. Then there is the Carleton College Canada scholarship because things are becoming different and difficult in our earlier kind of grant supporters of the UK and the US. People are looking more towards Canada and Australia, where people look at the route of higher education, grants, early faculty teaching opportunities, which gives them their PR. So this is a sure route if you have longer stretch dreams into the long-term future. Or, of course, short-term visiting fellowships also. There's a King's College London Commonwealth Fellowship, which is very prestigious. It is a great college. They do visit our Mumbai center very often. They have their major center in Delhi, but they do visit different colleges, and you must just get in touch with them because they have a lot of shared scholarships for students from developing countries. So it's very beneficial for students, early researchers, as well as senior faculty. There is also the Saudi Arabia fully funded scholarship. There is the BI Presidential Scholarship in Norway, which is again for international students. Again, very prestigious is the Erasmus Mundus, which also takes the form of trust bonds for the Netherlands. Netherlands is also a lovely country, which is opening up very well to foreign nationals. And of course, there are universities, special ones like the Northumbria University, where you can do your PhD, which is fully funded. There is a Scottish university also, Adam Smith University. The business school also has its own fellowship, and there are Indians who are at the helm of affairs. So getting into these kind of institutions is good. Of course, Oxford has a number of fellowship. Then the Margaret Thatcher Fellowship is also linked with Qatar and the MENA countries where the African connection comes in. There is the American University in Cairo. There's also the African Graduate Fellowship. And of course, you have many opening up for Africa because it's like throwing light on the dark continent, and people are realizing that there is fellowship and they must be given equal or more than equal opportunities, because only research and funding will take people ahead and bridge the gap in knowledge and underdevelopment. Then there are other exciting opportunities which is being advertised very, very frequently. I've got at least 5 of these, alerts, which is the British Council's Great Scholarship for 2025. And you have the New Zealand scholarship also of the Erasmus University. So all these are great ones if you are looking at international kind of frontiers. Uh, 1 minute, I'm just trying to go to the next slide. 1 minute. Okay, this is another interesting one, which is the J.N. Tata Endowment Loan Scholarship. Again, scholarships in India are also drying up. They are not relatively as green as they used to be, because Tatas used to give a lot of fellowships, especially funding for undergraduate students, for postgraduate students, STEM students. And since Ratan Tata himself was a scholar and a student at Cornell, there's a special fellowship there. The LSE also has the India Observatory Fellowship, which is a short-term fellowship. There are 2 of them, in fact. One is the Sir Ratan Tata Endowment Fellowship, and the second is the Subir Chaudhary Endowment Fellowship. Both are good for young researchers, young faculty members. So this is a loan. This is a different one. Those are fully funded, but the J.N. Tata is the loan scholarship, and they are advertising a lot. So you must look at the application deadlines, because this one seems to have passed, but don't give up hope, because there will be others which will come up shortly. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to go to the next slide. Okay. This is again being advertised a lot. You must look at international agencies and bodies. The United Nations has a host of institutions under its umbrella. They call it now the Next Generation Fellows, which is running from 2025 to 2027. And they are talking of young thinkers, where 5 young leaders and activists between the ages of 18 to 30, and I guess that should be our age group today, Dr. Boite. Are we in this age group of 18 to 30? I presume that our research scholars today would be in this, and you should see to it that you must look at the next generation fellowships, because these are very prestigious, and the UN is always a chip on everyone's shoulder. You look at government funding agencies within India and the very workshop you're attending, the ICSSR fellowship, there are various schemes again under its umbrella. Like you have, if you have scholars who have completed 44 years of age, then they could apply for these senior fellowships. There are several research projects like minor and major and grants in aid. I have seen people who have already done a PhD but are doing a second PhD because they are getting a fully funded PhD program from the ICSSR. So it is very prestigious to be an ICSSR fellow anytime for any of their grants. But let me tell you one thing, like I discussed with a colleague, that you have to be smart and you have to apply uh, where you work together in teams. Do not break each other's application in the same institution. Unfortunately, I could quote my own institution where I made the first application, and then looking at that, it's always lovely and healthy competition to follow suit, but I suggest do it the next year, because institutionally you will get only one ICSSR fellowship in all the categories. So do not break each other's applications. See to it that you support each other and say, okay, have a team. I remember Principal Shivare would have this team for Board of Studies members. He would strategize. Similarly, internationally, people have research teams which work together and look at the best proposal that must go. Even if there are 5 proposals, they will go through the scrutiny and look at the best proposal, because it is your institutional goal to have a research funding which is prestigious, because ultimately it will not be A, B, or C's fellowship. Everyone looks at the institution's ICSSR fellowship. So we must keep the larger goal of the institution for these kind of schemes, especially of the ICSSR. So there are various schemes, and even after retirement, people can become an ICSSR fellow. They can just, get affiliated to one of the research institutes, because the grant has to go through that account. But they are wonderful, because one of my PhD students, external Viva person, that lady said that now she is post-retirement and ICSSR fellow. So these are again very prestigious things. They're not small amounts. They could range anything between 18,000 to 70,000 rupees. And similarly with the age, up to the age of 70. So do look at ICSSR. It is still the most functional kind of a thing, but you will get an ICSSR grant only once in your lifetime. Please remember that too, that you cannot say that, oh, I haven't got anything. Their records will track you down. So that is the website you have to look at. Another funding agency, the UGC, which we all swear by, because the UGC is very generous, because you have your major research projects for retired scholars, emeritus fellowships, and you have research award. Again, you have to check the website time and again. And the UGC also has international cooperation. Both the former ICSSR and the UGC are both running both these grants, which you must look at. But please note, don't think that you will apply, for example, to a Japan fellowship and you will get it. No, you need to know somebody from a Japanese institution who will support, and their research committee has to say go ahead to your joint or collaborative research project. So please note that before you apply, please see to it that your letter from the foreign university is ready. And both these institutions, ICSSR and UGC, are very liberal. If you have the letter, your application is looked at very favorably, because you have made your connections. So please remember, start in small ways of attending conferences, writing papers, meeting people, because today it is a world of networking, and we must make our collaborations beyond borders and beyond our own domestic university. And I must happily and proudly say that I have got both these fellowships, and my Indo-French fellowship two times. Once was funded by the ICSSR and second time by the UGC. Similarly, my travel grant was given by the UGC. My FIP was given by the UGC. My major research project was given by the UGC. Having said that, you will have to scrape the bottom because today UGC has cut down large number of grants because privatization and looking for private funding for research is becoming the new normal, which is not really a good thing, but then it is happening. So keep applying. Don't be dejected. Don't think that you have applied the first time and you got a reject or no reply. You will have to apply several times, but don't lose your focus. See to it that your topics are absolutely in line with what's happening within the country or outside the country. For ICSSR, you must see to it that you have more economic, yes, but more socio-economic kind of topics like poverty, inequality, deprivation, hunger, malnutrition, tribal areas, all these kind of things, because they focus on those kind of niche areas because they are for more of equitable growth and development. Similar with areas or arenas of gender. The UGC, on the other hand, is more liberal with its topic, where they could look at anything and everything under the sun for economics, especially. So these are two very strong ones. Of course, if you are into science and technology, you're very lucky because they have larger funds for the cognitive research, the CSRI programs. Plus, you have, even if you're going abroad, the STEM programs are getting a lot of funding. Recently, the Marie Curie university fellowships were given, and an Indian has got it. So those are for actual lab research or having research which affects humanity. So these are different kinds of fellowships. Of course, then if you are working on issues of gender, caste, disability, there is the separate ministry of social justice and empowerment. You must look at that website also. Senior people can look at the Indian Council of Historical Research because today, with the new education policy, history has come back, and we are looking at the IKS element, and we are looking at ancient Indian systems. As I saw that most of our colleges are also looking at Arthashastra or are looking at Ambedkar's economics. So people are relooking what was good with us because these are the people who had even gone abroad, like Ambedkar is an LSE alumnus. So thus you must look at the history part of research also. LSE does a lot of your fellowships in polity, in gender, and they are looking at even geography. So urban areas, all these kind of niche areas are there. LSE has a large number of centers. I was lucky to be sponsored by the Suntree Center, which was a Toyota center. The actual car, yes, they hosted, they could do anything. So they had hosted the 75th essay celebration of Lionel Robbins, and I was lucky to presented my paper there, and they had hosted me. So look at all these things because these could then go into publications of
Hello,
maybe
ma'am.
Economica, which is the LSE's very prestigious publication. So
Gita,
just
ma'am.
keep on trying through different sources. And of course, you have the philosophy part of it also. Like Amartya Sen himself said that when he was on the Trinity Fellowship at both Harvard and Cambridge, it gave him a broader depth beyond economics. He had the time and the funding to think about philosophy. Believe it or not, he is the Thomas Lamont Professor of Philosophy at Harvard. So it's not economics,
Gita, ma'am.
philanthropy. And of course, yes, that reminds me, there's also a Dr. Manmohan Singh Fellowship, because both Sen and Singh have been alumnus who are Oxbridge, qualified at Oxford and Cambridge. Singh's fellowship is more in agriculture and pricing, because that is what his thesis was. Of course, Sen got his Nobel Prize
Hello,
for
Geeta ma'am.
development. So those are things that you must look at for
Geeta ma'am.
new areas. And I must say that for your fellowship to be, successful, for a successful grant, please link it to one of the 16 SDGs, because everyone is looking at one, two, or a combination of these areas. So ensure that you get into that. And this is discontinued now, but there was this very short-lived Impress scheme. See, the ICSSR still runs it. I know a colleague who got it, but now I don't think it's running any longer, again because of funding issues, because it is funded again by the Ministry of Education. Of course, other sources are Tata Trust. With the passing away of Ratan Tata, funding is becoming more difficult. There is the Azim Premji Foundation. They have a university, so they do support grants for different things ranging from education, public policy to social development. There's a Rockefeller Foundation also. They are more on health, just like the Bill Gates Foundation. They are more on health, nutrition, AIDS and HIV, all those kind of things. So they're looking at social transformation through the health perspective. And of course, UNESCO has a large number of education and gender-based fellowships. The UNDP also has the India office in Delhi, and we have our own alumnus and very illustrious, quiet person, Dr. Professor Sita Prabhu, who is a lead figure at the UNDP in Delhi. So you must look at sustainable development, because that is what is going to make your grant proposal more successful. And of course, I would say that these have not yet opened. In April, they are going to open for the new cycle, as they call it. Please look at this. This is for Indian scholars, the Fulbright Nehru Fellowships for Indians. So these are going to be there, advertised in April. There is an office, they have a personal local office in Mumbai at near SNDT University, New Marine Lines. So just go up there. They do have workshops where they will educate you how to apply. Always look at FAQs, okay? Frequently asked questions and how to apply and notes, because your successful application must adhere to the requirements of the grant giving agency. There are very many things that you leave out as blanks if you do not follow protocol or you do not follow proper instructions. So please be careful. Always first go to the bottom of the instructions, which is FAQs, that other people have also had queries like you, and those are answered there. In short, wrong. And they always give you an email ID where you can ask them full questions. Like here, we are lucky to have it right here at Marine Lines, and you could approach them directly. They are very good people. In fact, they were to come to our college to have a Fulbright program where we were to host 12 Fulbrighters from America in this very month of March as we speak. But as you see, the month is getting over. The Delhi office head person, our Fulbright office, the head office is in Delhi. So your interviews will be conducted in Delhi. Even if you are a Mumbai candidate, all interviews are in Delhi. But however, this program has fizzled the second time in a row. This time, thanks to the great new president of America, where Fulbright funding has really, really been hit. So also American universities, teaching, learning, research, fellowships, everything. So literally look out for opportunities. There are many out there. Don't think you are going to succeed the first time. Keep applying till you get your niche fellowship. And you will just have that vision and passion, and you will work towards it. Create a successful kind of a thing. So as I said, there are other Fulbright fellowships also. There is generally the Nehru. Fulbright is one because it is largely funded by India, and partially by the American university. The other ones which you must look at, I was on the Fulbright SIR, which is at a very senior level and it is very prestigious. The SIR, which is Scholar in Residence. Then you have specialist programs for Indian institutions. You have the language teacher assistant program. So people who are especially English teachers, it is for them. And it is largely at the school or as they call high school level. You also have the Distinguished Awards for International Teachers. And please note, there is also an environment one in the name of APJ Abdul Kalam. So look at the Kalam Fellowship also, all you people who are doing sustainable development or the geography or the environmental management people, this is an excellent one specifically crafted for you. So that is it. If you have any questions, I'm open to them.
Hello, thank you, ma'am. Janab, Mohammed Dil Nawaz sir, mute yourself, please. Dil Nawaz sir, अपने को mute. Geeta ma'am, you can mute them. Your
Oh, I
host.
can, is it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please, Dil Nawaz sir को mute कीजिए आप. I'm very sorry for the other participants that you got disturbed because of the.
I hope that's why maybe my voice was loud
You were
enough.
you were in flow, ma'am. And in fact, yeah, it is
I'm just
late
wondering,
session
how do I
because
mute people?
many times.
You can go to participant list and
Actually, when you're a host only, you can mute them. We cannot.
Oh, I'm just
Dil
trying.
Nawaz sir, आप नहीं सुन रहे? Yeah, thank you. So, participants, do you have anything to ask, ma'am? Because this session was kept purposefully. If you want to get, as madam has told you, ICSR is giving minor and major up to 30 lakh as well. And there are a number of such, granting agencies which are giving you the, good grants. Someone asked a question. Madam, am I audible? Geeta
Yes,
ma'am?
yes, I can hear you.
Someone asked question that, madam, how can we get so many scholarships? You can't get all scholarship at a one time. But if you try for it, you can get either of it. So every time you can apply for scholarships. So that we are. Got a
Yeah.
point. Baru,
And to
Bura
that
sir,
question,
please
sir,
mute yourself.
to that answer that Koite sir gave, he's right. You apply for as many as you can, but please note that especially ICSSR and UGC will ask you, have you applied for any other fellowship? So you have to be honest and say that. You can't think that you'll get a bundle of 10 12 scholarships. No, it doesn't happen like that. I mean, everybody has to get it fairly. So funding is limited, it is drying up. So look out for even private sources, because there are various companies or private universities that are giving funding for research. So you will have to go beyond the public domain, because everybody applies. They still do give. There is a large amount of quantity. The participants in all these research programs are not drying up, but at the same time, grants are also not drying up to the extent they will in the future. So I suggest this is a time you must make the most of it. Apply, and don't be dejected if you get rejected in the first, second, third shot.
Yes, ma'am. Someone has a question. What's the age limit, number one?
Age
And
limit
number
for?
two, how can they get ICSR fellowship?
No, as I told you, you just need to go on the website. There are different categories of ICSSR fellowships. There is the doctoral one where I think it is up to 45 or something. And then there are these senior ones. As I told you, the lady who came to take the viva of my student, she had already finished 65 years, but the ICSSR senior fellowship is up to the age of 70. Even after retiring from your regular job, you can take it up. Just that you even need to build connections here because you need to have an affiliating institution. The logic is simple. You need a research center to host you, like abroad, and you need your funding to pass through a channel of a bank account. That's why you need somebody to host you, and there comes up a new evolving relationship called mentorship. So either you collaborate with uh, the center, one or two people, or there is one head of the center who becomes your mentor.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Thank
afternoon.
you for such a wonderful session. Ma'am, I just want to ask that I'm a research scholar, first year research scholar from Maulana Azad National Urdu University. And I want to know that is there any specific condition or criteria so that I want to avail the ICSSR fellowship?
That's why I'm saying just look at the doctoral fellowship, because I think when I was talking to another person who was doing his second PhD, so I asked him, why would you do a second PhD? I mean, how does it benefit you? You don't get, double benefits in salary, etc. They said, no, because I got funding from ICSSR. So that's what you just have to be registered for PhD. So
Ma'am,
you just
I had already registered. I'm first year research scholar.
Yeah, so that is good. ICSSR is a little strict with rules and regulations. So there'll be a process where your guide has to give a letter, your institute will have to give a letter, etc., etc. But it's worth it. Try it, because the scholarship amounts of both UGC and ICSSR are good. They are good amounts, which are much better than our contractual salaries.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, true.
Sure.
Yeah, students, any other questions you do have, please ask ma'am. Geeta ma'am,
Yeah.
can you please on your video, are you on
Yeah,
screen?
yeah. What should I do on the video? 1 minute.
We know, because I have to take one your
Okay,
actually.
so then I should be doing stop share, is it? No, or just video on.
No, no,
Okay.
you can just on video now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. You are safe.
Okay, fine.
ये
Yeah.
बरूचा सर को मैं बहुत रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, इज नॉट
Who is
सर इज मैं को कॉल भी आपको म्यूट कर सकते हैं मैम.
1 minute?
Just
Whom
find
do
three
I
dots
mute?
and mute him.
This person?
हाँ, Dr. Buddha. I had called him many times, but he's not even picking phone. He's
Wait,
engaged
I'll
somewhere,
mute.
I think so. So even I'm not able to take your.
Sorry, I muted myself by mistake. I think we'll just have to go with the noise.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, there was a pause in the middle.
Take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, thank you very much. Actually, the sir was not. I called him many times to tell that he's unmuted, but he didn't pick phone also. So sorry for the
Right.
disturbances.
That's all right. Forget
Anyway,
it.
ma'am, I sincerely thank you for joining us and telling me this is a very important topic. As the one student asked you, there are people who really want to work on quality work, and they do not understand ki where can they apply. So asymmetric is the main problem today. So when you told them so many sources, they can keep on applying, and hopefully they all will get somewhere. Their their proposal accepted. And as you already have done in I think you were in USA. A lot and you
Yes,
shared
sir.
with experience. So that is the purpose I wanted this session for, and it is accomplished. Thank you very much for joining us today, and it was a great time indeed with you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you have now have a validity session. You can be with us.
Yeah,
We have validity session.
I'll just be there at the start. Yeah.
So you can you can be with us as the audience, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm just checking out whether sir is there or sir has joined or not.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm very sorry for this.
You have a 90 strong audience. That's amazing.
Yeah, ma'am. They're attending and every day they have been attending. And I really feel good. This time the attendance was very good. But it was then is to have registered. But I always feel that these people are really sustaining the value of education because they're so curious and they have the patience to join for three hours. So all we owe to them and as a wonderful audience. I feel always like that. So they really have the patience to listen us and give their opinion. So thank you very much all the participants for joining and attending this capacity building program. Let me check out whether the guest has joined and then we will start validity session immediately. हा बंद केला नाही लक्ष समोर तो डायरेक्ट So kindly give us 2-3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, Hemant sir, sir is joining in 5 minutes. Okay, we have to wait for him. Is it fine, sir?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the patience, all the participants. The feedback form has been sent for this session as well. So please kindly fill it. Yeah, okay. Okay, our chief guest today, Dr. Sri Kumar Menon sir has joined. So are you there?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Thank you for joining, sir. So welcome on this virtual platform of capacity building program sponsored by ICSCR for 10 days. And we are really feel happy and delighted to have you here online with us. Now, I would like to request my colleague, Professor Geeta Ahuja, to introduce you. Geeta, ma'am, over to you. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you very much, Rajesh sir. I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible, please.
Thank you very much. It's a really a delight for me to introduce the chief guest of the valedictory session. We are first of all, very thankful to sir for accepting our invitation and joining us for this and valedictory session of the 10 days capacity building program. Uh, Sir Sri Kumar Menon sir is from the MMK College of Commerce and Economics. Sir is the head of the Department of Commerce. Sir is a recognized PhD guide in management of MD College. Sir has more than 26 years teaching experience. Sir is a board member of the editorial board member of the reputed International Journal of Research and Analytical Reviews. Sir has published many research papers in national and international journals. Sir has completed the research project sanctioned by the University of Mumbai and the UGC. Sir has co-authored textbook on Commerce paper 5 and 6. Sir is a RRC member of the HSNC University. Sir is also ex-program officer. So it was really privileged to introduce for this session. And I request you to please start with the program. Thank you very much.
Am I clear? Audible to all?
Yes, sir. Sir, give us 1 minute. Much, Geeta ma'am. Sir, I'd like to give you brief of this capacity building program, which we have been running last 10 days. Okay, we received a grant from ICSR to conduct the capacity building program on the advancing research methodology and the current trends. So this we got total 260 plus responses only in 3 days. I must say all over India, the people are joining right from Mizoram, Nagaland to Haryana. And there is also international attendee from Nigeria and there are many of different parts of India, and they have been interacting since last 10 days with a keen interest in their research areas. We had a main intention to update them with the recent trends. So we kept a session like AI and research, and the big data and computational methods to make them clearly understand. We gave them session like cross-sectional studies, longitudinal studies, then the different kind of statistical parameter test and advanced technical session also we get them practical. So the intention was very clear to update them with the recent happening in the research field. And total, as I said you, the speakers, 70 speakers have shared in a platform with us. Out of them, 5 speakers are from other than Maharashtra. So they are from Jaipur, Jammu Kashmir, Kerala, all right. And the speaker, we also a speaker from the other states of India. I would say Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, Mr. Dr. Shubhajit. So 5 from national and the rest speakers from our Maharashtra we had. So we we sure that the audience have gained from this and we are successful in a conducting CPB in a well manner. And now I would like to our Vice Principal Hemant sir to give his address to us. Hemant, principal sir is busy in a HO, so I will request Hemant sir to please address the audience. And after the Hemant sir address, you can start your validity session. Thank you, sir. Hemant sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Today's chief guest for this program, Dr. Kumar Menon, the speaker of the last session, Dr. Geeta Nair, coordinator Dr. Rajesh Boite, and the coordinating team as well as participants. Very good afternoon to all of you. since Principal Dr. Shaukateli is absent, I've been asked to do these honors. I'm very thankful to Dr. Rajesh Bote for giving me this opportunity to speak in this. I have been attending this program for personally throughout for the last 10 days, and I have seen the participation of all the participants was so nice and encouraging. The reason for having so many participants attending regularly throughout is basically because of the quality of the speakers we had throughout these last 10 days. And I'm really very thankful to Dr. Rajesh Bhote for giving all the participants an opportunity to hear the best of the speakers in the business today. So it was an excellently organized program, 10 days program, quite enriching and quite it's a big, huge learning experience for all of us to get to know so many new things. The basically, since this is a validatory session, the purpose of having conducting this program with the main objective was to equip participants with advanced methodologies, data analysis techniques, and the theoretical framework essential for high quality research. I'm sure at the end of this today's program, we feel, at least I feel, the primary objective of this 10 days program has been achieved to a great extent. Ultimately, we sought to empower all the research scholars to contribute meaningfully to their respective fields, promoting academic excellence and impactful research. Without taking much of your time, Rajesh, thank you so much for having me here for this valedictory speech, and I'm sure Dr. Sri Kumar Menon will further enlighten our participants with his final speech. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for all the unconditional support from principal sir, you as an organizing body. So thank you very much. So now I'll request today's honorable chief guest to give a literary address to our audience. So over to you.
Thank you, Rajesh Boite, sir. First of all, it's a great honor. I would like to thank my dear friend, principal of your college, Professor Shaukat Ali, sir, yourself, the Deputy Director, Organizer Committee, Rajesh Boite, sir, all my esteemed faculty members over here. It is indeed an honor to be before you on this momentous day. Today is a culmination day of the short journey which you began to learn the recent trends and developments in the area of research. Friends, one of the most beautiful aspects of your journey has been the diversity of the speakers. From what I can make out and from what Rajesh Boite sir has told, 17 speakers spanning over 10 days. I'm very sure you have learned lot many ideas, techniques, and you have got the confidence now to embark on the journey of academic research. Friends, any research work we do should not be confined to library or bookshelves, but it should lead to some knowledge support and value addition to the society. Again, I would like to emphasize on very important aspect of research that's missing today is the ethical part. Our research work should be devoid of plagiarism, falsification, and fabrication. What is our role as a researcher? Our primary role as a researcher is of an information collector, of an information creator, of an information disseminator, of an information analyzer, and then of an information recorder. The research work should always be focused on uniqueness, creativity, discipline, and hard work. Again, the role of data while conducting research is very important. I am telling you this from my experience. We should always collect the data from valid source and we should cite the data, give the credit to them. As far as possible, the data should be substantial. Now here, I would like to make some of my observations. Normally during the period of research, when we talk about data, the universal sample size of 10% we said to be enough. But if the data size is infinite, if you want to select a sample from a population which is finite or infinite, you have to be very careful when you collect the data, or when you defend your research work, it will be real problematic for you. Say, I would like to explain this with an example. In India, we have many people who work in unorganized sector. According to the central government source, more than 1.75 crore people work in unorganized sector. In the state of Maharashtra, 40 lakh people work in unorganized sector. So if I want to make a work-life balance study of the people working in unorganized sector, ideally I would be selecting 4 lakh as a data, 10% of 40 lakh. But that is a substantial amount. It would take years for me to collect the data. And by the time I collect the data, the scenario might have changed. The people which we call now unorganized, they might become organized. So what should we do? We should use some formulas. Like we have the Cochrane's formula, we have the Gordon's formula, we have the Yamani's formula, and we have to decide on the sample size. So if you want to calculate the sample size, I go back to my earlier example of 4 lakh. Say I take the margin of error as 5% and confidence level of 99% and the population proportion of 50%, the sample size would come around 666. I would take 667. So instead of 4 lakh, I'm carrying out a research work with a sample size of 667. How did I arrive at that sample size? These are the critical questions what people should ask themselves. So when we select a research sample, we should be really very careful, because in our research, what is our objective of our research? Whether it contributes to some existing study, whether it is developing some new study, and what is our hypothesis of the research. Many times people make mistakes in objective formulation and also formulation of hypothesis. So friends, whenever you embark on research, please keep your mind very clear. I know, I'm very sure this last 10 days you might have heard so many speakers and they might have explained you different aspects, like from the statistical part to the sample part, everything is detailed explained to you. So now you have to practically apply it. Let us pledge to carry the lessons, what we have learned into the future. Let us continue to be driven by curiosity, integrity, and a desire to contribute positively to our communities and beyond. So I end this speech with the words that research is a journey of unknown. But if you embark on a journey well prepared, the unknown will surely become known to you. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak in this 10-day workshop. I'm sure it's very challenging. Like some of you might be from different parts of the country, but we are all united by one cause, and that cause is of research, to further our knowledge, to contribute to the society, and last but not the least, to become good human beings. So our research should lead to something very positive not only in our academic, but positive in our nature, positive in our character. That's very important. Thank you, sir. Boite, sir, over to you.
Yeah. Dr. Srikumar, sir, thank you very much for having joined us and giving a wonderful speech and adoring us. Thank you very much. Indeed, it is challenging to apply, to get grant and to follow their, all their instructions, procedure. It takes really, we have to manage, other than, calling guests, getting their timings. It is really a learning experience for me as well. But since last year I've been doing it, so I'm very happy that now I also got used to. Hopefully next year again we'll be having wonderful capacity building program. Now the time has come to give me vote of thanks. So the first of all, I give my sincere thanks to ICSR WRC Wing, who gave us grant and motivated us to conduct this capacity building program. Then our management, who has always been supportive and encouraging to allow us to conduct such platforms and give their full support. Then our principal, sir, Dr. Shaukat Ali, sir, who ever supports such initiatives. Our vice principal, ever ready to help us. IQAC coordinator, she is always there for us to conduct such programs, and she also does participate in this activity. Then I also thank junior college vice principal, though they're in a hectic schedule of assessing in a 12th paper and doing moderation, sending reports, but still the junior staff is also attending it whenever they're getting time. So thank you, Madam Tanir ma'am and all the junior staff. Then I thank the director of self-financing, Dr. Lakadawala. I saw he was present, he was listening to this session as well. So he himself, did attend all the sessions, and he really motivated us this way. So thank you, Dr. Lakadawala sir, as well. Then I must thank my member of research cell, uh, who do who do contribute all the time whenever we conduct such sessions. Then I thank all the colleagues of degree, junior, and self-financing who have joined the sessions and made it more and more successful. Then the technical, I would like to give my special thanks to Dr. Sadiq. Though they all are on Rosa, and I must put it here, they are all on Rosa. He has been connected with me, and for every technical glitch, he's ready to solve the problem. So thank you very much, Sadiq sir, and the Atisham sir. Atisham sir is also, whenever there is a communication gap between sir and I, Atisham sir is always there to solve the problem. So both of you are really the great support of us for in a technical, especially in a technical field. Then I must thank all the staff members who introduced different guests over these 10 days. I should name Dr. Smita ma'am, the Professor Vishali ma'am, then Professor Geeta ma'am, Kirti Mengani, a professor, the student research scholar Haider. He also agreed to introduce one guest, and Etisham sir for helping me to introduce some guests. Then I thank all the guest speakers. They are the who made it more successful than us, because I got feedback. I got feedback. Number of guests, they have got a wonderful feedback, sir. Let me tell you, and they were too specific, and they were too good in their expertise field. So everyone, all our 17 guests, I have been like a I give them, naming them is difficult now, but I thank everyone. And it is indeed a international capacity building program, I must say. Special thank to Dr. Srinivas. We all over Nigeria, he has been he has been attending every day and also giving me feedback every day, sir. The sessions are good. So then I thank all the participants without whom there's no meaning for such platforms, because if they are there, we have the meaning. So thank you for joining, and the one who were interacting all over the for all the 10 days, especially I have seen with names, some were too active and they were interacting, getting knowledge. Many of them were on Rosa, but still they attended, they learned, they asked, and they were curious to know more about research. That what we are sustaining our research. Because of this handful people, I must say, the research is being sustained. So thank you very much, all the participants. And once again, I thank everyone indirectly, directly contributed for the capacity building program. If I forgot to name anyone, kindly excuse me. But it was indeed a great experience with you all. And thank you, Shukumar sir, for joining us and making it, with you, with your address, we are ending capacity building program. Thank you very much. Now, all the participants, we shall be sharing with you link tomorrow. I'll announce a test time. You have to give test of 100 marks, please. So within that time, please give the test so that your certificates are about to release on the basis of your test appear. Kindly note it, because if you don't appear the test, certificates will not be generated. Marks, whatever you get, that's not a case. You attending it, that is the important criteria. So kindly attend it, and uh, you'll get your certificate in some days. Give us time, because we have to take signature from director of ICSSR, and then we have to issue the certificates. So it will be issued to you. It will be mailed to you. Don't worry. And if any correction is needed, anything needed, you can contact the technical person, Dr. Sadiq sir or I, and we are here to resolve your query. Next month, we are going to have some FDPs, so I will be stay connected with on the WhatsApp group. So if any way we are coming with the new programs, FDP, we shall be informing you, so you can join us and you can enrich yourself. And this kind of connectivity, academic connectivity, will certainly raise not only you but us the more, being the institution. So thank you very much, and have a nice day, all of you. Thank you, Hemant sir.
Yes, sir. Bolia.
Geeta ma'am, thank you very much. Thanks everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Surendra sir. I'm seeing you all are from Jaipur, and others who have joined. I can't see everyone, but thank you everyone who are virtually present here. Thank you. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you, Heman sir. Thank you, Rajesh sir.
Yeah, shukriya. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.
agree.